Hi guys, welcome to the Differently Mel podcast, a place where I help you heal and grow. We talk all about self-development, manifestation, spirituality, life-changing mindset shifts. I really try to dive super deep so you can go within your own self, transcend the things that are happening in there, and then slowly but surely your external life, your 3D life will start to change. Everything starts within the self, and in this podcast I really strive to go there. Go to the places that we usually don't talk about or don't go. So today we're going to be talking about how to build confidence. And I really think at this point in time that it's a very important conversation to have, because to be able to live the life that you want, having that be separate and having no confidence will not allow you to get there. Okay? So your life, the life that you do want, is intrinsically linked, intertwined with this feeling within yourself that you feel confident. And I'm going to dive into a little bit more as to the different types of confidence and how I actually see this word and how I can explain this word and how to actually build this a little bit later. But the first thing that I want to start off with is that I really do think that today is the perfect day to film this episode for you guys, just because I had a tough morning. I'm feeling quite frustrated, quite low, because I'm trying so hard to manifest a lot of things in my life these days, and it's taking its sweet little time. It really is. It's taking a lot of time and it's getting frustrating, but I'm still stepping up. I'm still showing up for what it is that I do want, and I'm not letting these negative, lower vibrational energies attach to me for too long. So I spent a lot of time this morning meditating, listening to music, journaling, getting myself ready so I can transcend those energies, feel a little bit better, and put my best foot forward to record this episode for you guys. And the reason why this is super important is we're going to talk about this, but it's because having confidence in the outward world, having confidence in your external world starts always from within. And if you can't show up for yourself, slowly but surely, you're not going to be able to show up for the world either. And as I said, having the life that you do want is intimately linked with being able to have confidence. And confidence in your dreams, confidence in yourself, confidence in life. This feeling is intrinsically necessary to achieve your goals and to achieve your dream life, basically. So today we're going to be talking about this. Today as well, I don't have proper notes or script. I really feel like I want to talk to you guys in a much more authentic way, kind of like from friend to friend. I wouldn't, be creating scripts to talk to my friends, and I felt today that a script was not needed, that sort of hard, fast structure was not needed, and I just want to channel a message to you guys in the most authentic way, the most natural way possible, which is just from me to you, from moi to you conversations, okay? So let's get into it. How do you build confidence, guys? I think the first thing to talk about is the different types of confidence, right? I feel a lot of the times when we talk about confidence, we always imagine kind of like this boss babe, walking into the room with heels, making like, kind of really, she has her shoulders back, her head up, she's walking, she owns the place, she exudes confidence out of her pores. People are a little bit intimidated by her, and you know what I mean? And she's just thriving in life, right? She's got the money, she's got the boyfriend, she's got like a successful career. You know what I mean? Like when you think about confidence, a lot of the times I feel like we think about that person, the person that enters in the room and takes up space, and people are like, wow, my life, this is a little intimidating, but she's kind of cool like that. I would like to be like her. A lot of the times I think that's what we think about when we say how to build confidence. We're like, well, that's what I want. How do I get there? And I think a lot of the times, because this is how we perceive confidence, and that's the only thing that's kind of the only thing that we can see, we try to find a plaster solution. Okay, I guess then if I want to do that, then I should be wearing heels and I should be wearing like those sort of outfits so I can feel a little bit more like her. And maybe I should do this career actually because she's in finance, so maybe I guess I should do finance. Do you see what I mean? Like a lot of the times because when we say how to build confidence, the first thing that pops into people's mind, at least in my mind, is that sort of picture. We forget that to get to that picture, which it can very well be the destination. Everybody's destination will be different. Everybody's like idea of wanting to be super confident will manifest and design itself in very different ways. As I said, your dream life is intimately linked with confidence, right? But everybody's dream life is different. So everybody's vision of like the most confident self that they can is very different. For someone, it might be, you know what? I was built to become a boss babe. I was shoved around to do all of these jobs and do all of this, but actually my true, intimate, real desire is to be a mother. I don't want to be making the money. I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to have 5 kids and just take care of them. And so for that person to reach their dream goal, they have to have the confidence to step out of that kind of like boss babe narrative and sink into something different, something that feels a little bit more uncomfortable, but that is much more aligned with what they want, right? So a lot of the times, as I said, we perceive confidence as a very outwardly thing, a thing that other people will sense from the person that's confident, right? But we forget that that's only one, as I said, that's only one type of confidence, and sometimes that is the goal, the destination. But to get to the destination, we need to take different steps, right? We can't be trying to put on the attire of what it is that we want without having gone to step 1. And for me, step 1 is to actually cultivate a different type of confidence, which I will call self-confidence. Because to get to that, like, outwardly confidence to the world, we need to cultivate the confidence within our inner world. Okay? Everything in life, as I say so many times, everything in life is a mirror. And if you can't be and you're not able to tap into the energy of the confidence that you want, it's probably because within yourself, you don't feel confident. You don't have any self-confidence. And what do I mean by self-confidence? Self-confidence for me is the inner, deep knowing that you've got you. The inner, deep knowing of like, you know what? I know that when I say that I'm going to wake up and go to the gym, I am going to wake up and go to the gym. I'm not going to wake up and find some random excuse and be like, oh, my right toe hurts and I'm not going to go. No, I said I was going to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. Because the more you set out things to do in your life and you actually do them, the more you can build like a stack of proof that you actually step up for yourself, and that what you say that you want, you get. So now, when you say, hey, I want to be that version of a confident boss babe lady that works in finance or whatever, no sé qué, you will know that you're going to get there because you have this stack of proof that every single other thing that you said you were going to do, you've done it, right? And I really think that it's super important. And as I said in this podcast, we go deeper. We try to really go as deep as we can, as deep as I can help you go. And realize that a lot of the times we need to go to the root cause, fix that, heal that, and then naturally everything else will work. So as I said, like if you start with self-confidence, right, and actually do the things that you told yourself you were going to do, and you do that over and over again, your self-confidence will build. There's no other way around that, okay? Your self-confidence will build. And once that self-confidence will build, naturally you will carry yourself different. You will carry yourself differently because you will now be walking around with this inner knowing within yourself that you do the things you set yourself to do. And that means that now the energy that you're walking in is completely different. Because now, if you actually do the things that you set yourself to do, one, you are building your self-confidence. Secondly, you're probably feeling a lot better about yourself because you're like, wow, like I'm actually doing the things. Thirdly, I don't know if that's the word, but third, you're actually moving closer to your dreams, right? Because oftentimes there's things that we put as things that we want to do, like go to the gym or, I don't know, journal more or take some time to write music or whatever it is. It's because we know that these are the small first steps that will help us get to the better versions of ourselves, the version of ourselves that's a songwriter, for example, or the version of ourselves that is healthy and strong and powerful and has strong muscles that will help with longevity in the long run. Do you know what I mean? Oftentimes the small things that we set ourselves to do, that we want to do in our lives, we set them for ourselves because we know that that's going to help us get to a better, more evolved, updated, quote unquote, version of ourselves. But if we don't do these things, we're basically telling ourselves subconsciously, you're not worth it. You're not worth it. You're not worth the pain or the struggle of waking up a bit earlier to go to the gym. You're not worth clearing out your afternoon to write a song. You're not worth going to bed half an hour earlier to journal about your day. You're basically telling yourself you're not worth that. Even though you're not saying it as if in those words, you're telling yourself over and over and over and over again, you're not worth it. Because you're not doing the things that you know will help you get to where you want to go. So how can you get to a place where you're walking around and exuding confidence if you yourself are feeling and you yourself know that you wouldn't do and you wouldn't step up for your own self? How do you think that you can actually make a tangible difference in the world? Because that's oftentimes what people want to do. If you yourself have never made or have never been able to make a tangible difference within your own world, your own inner world. It starts from within, guys. It really does. And I say all of these things, and there's still a lot of things that I'm working through. As I said, I'm frustrated today, okay? There's a lot of things that I'm trying to manifest that I don't have yet. And again, I know it's a mirror. It's probably because I haven't gone deeper or something that there's a slight little tweak that still needs to get done. But I'm just telling you what it is that I've learned, what it is that I know about certain things. And for confidence, it definitely, surely starts within. Nothing can ever start outside of you. Everything has to start within yourself. And to build that confidence, you have to make it a thing to actually do the things that you set yourself to do. And before you do that, to reevaluate, what is it that you actually want to do and why is it that you want that? Do you want to go to the gym 5 times a week just because some random personal development person told you that that was what you were supposed to do, or because you intrinsically know that that's what you want? You know what I mean? Try to find goals and try to find things that you want to do for yourself that actually feel aligned with who you want to be. That will eliminate a level of friction. But the friction will still be there because when you set out things that you want to do for yourself, a lot of the times you do that because you know it's going to help you, as I said, to get to a higher, more updated version of yourself. But to get there, it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, you would have already done it. But clearly you haven't. And so it will have friction, okay? But finding the things that it is that you actually really do want will help eliminate some of the friction. But there's no secret. Literally, guys, there's no secret potion to help you build confidence, to help you get to that person if you don't work on you, if you don't go deep and actually step up and show up for yourself. And that, I think, was the main message that I want to share with you today is you've got to start on you. And you've got to look at yourself in a mirror and actually be like, hey, if I want to get there, what is it that I have to do? What is it that I have to actually do for my own self to get there? Because you won't get there if you're not stepping up and you're not showing up for yourself. It's just not possible. I've never seen it happen. And if it did, I feel like we would all be confident creatures walking around because it would be easy, you know? Life is not always easy. Life is not necessarily meant to be easy. We have to go through our things and transcend a lot of things and look at our own selves and work within the self before we can actually show up within the world in a much better way, in the way that we want to show up. But it starts within the self. And that's my thing. How do you build confidence? Build your self-confidence. That would be my answer. If somebody asked me, how do you build confidence? I'll be like, build your self-confidence, show up for the things that you say that you set out to do them, improve, and reflect, you know? And over time, slowly but surely, that confidence will naturally appear because you will have so much self-confidence within yourself that it's going to start to exude like that boss babe that we talked about earlier. But if you don't start with the self, if you don't show up for yourself, it's not going to show up in the world. It just won't. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is talking about trauma, because a lot of the times, yes, I'm saying just show up for yourself. And it's not that easy, you know? It really isn't always that easy. For some people, it's just like, you know, you just have to tell people very honestly, just show up for yourself and they will. But for other people, it's difficult because there's trauma attached to that. And what is trauma? I think the way that right now I would describe trauma is like something in your life, an event happened in your life, and for whatever reason, it really affected you, and all that sort of pain and feelings and emotions were stored in your body, and it's stored in your body, kind of like, you know, when you have a storage unit, you just store your shit in there. Same thing. There's shit that's stored in your body. And sometimes you're not aware of that, and that sort of trauma within yourself sometimes prevents you from showing up. Because maybe you were taught that, let's say, you were not worth it, or you learned that good things don't happen to you. And so whenever something gets good, you're like, oh, that can't be. So then you self-sabotage, right? So sometimes saying, oh, just show up for yourself is a bit too simplistic, because some people just can't just show up for themselves, because there's something, again, even deeper that needs to be worked on, that requires and yearns to be looked at. And I can't get into right now how to do that, because to actually work on trauma, you have to know that the trauma's there. And a lot of the times trauma is unconscious, and it goes back to that quote from, I think, Jung or something, that says that until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will continue to rule your life and you'll call it fate. But it's not fate. It's just because there is something below the surface that hasn't been brought up yet to the surface, that is ruling your life and preventing you from getting to where you want to be. But these things can be worked on. They really can. But it's complex, and I don't have the time right now to go into it. But the things that I can maybe signpost you to are definitely EFT tapping. As I said, I talk about it all the time, but it really, really helps to rewire your subconscious mind. Hypnosis as well. And also just knowing that, you know, for a trauma that is stored in your body, for it to leave, it has to be released. And for it to be released, it has to be released through a bodily thing. So dancing can help trauma sometimes leave your body or be moved around. Crying is a way to release. Yawning is a way to release. Screaming, shouting, throwing up. All of these things can be ways that you release trauma, but for that, something needs to trigger that. You need to oftentimes have somebody with you that can help you, guide you through releasing these things. So it takes time, but I think that you guys being here and you guys having listened to me and found this podcast already shows that you are aware. Something has become conscious to you, because if it was still unconscious, you probably wouldn't be here, because you would know, no, I probably have enough confidence. I don't really have to work on it. And if you were super confident, you wouldn't be listening to podcasts about how to be confident, because you don't have to. You don't need to anymore. So the fact that you're still here and the fact that you're listening to this shows that trauma of maybe that might have been guiding your life has come up to the surface. And now that it's come up to the surface and you're aware of it, it's now your choice to decide if you want to continue living life the way you were, or if you want to change it. Because when it was unconscious, you didn't know. But now that you do know, you have a choice to make, and that choice is yours. But again, being able to rewire your brain with EFT tapping, with hypnosis, from Marissa Peer, for example, journaling, you can make it a thing that you're going to journal every day to figure out what's coming up to the surface, allowing yourself to feel your emotions and not push them down. If you need to cry, if you need to do, whatever it is that you need to do that, and to really slowly but surely get back into your heart and follow that. Because sometimes it will be painful, but I really think that not allowing yourself to feel the pain is the most important thing, because the next step after that is freedom. Every single time that I was going through my breakup and I was bringing up so many things from the surface, and they're still coming up right now, coming up to the surface, and I was like, how am I dealing with this? I was ready to deal with it, and for some random reason, stuff on my Instagram feed would show up that actually helped me, and YouTube videos popped up on my feed. I was like, oh, hypnosis is a thing, and then I discovered EFT tapping, and then I discovered astrology, and all of this whole world that I was like, oh wow, now that I'm ready, now that everything has come up to the surface, now all of the tools that I need are coming up. And would be super blessed if I was one of the tools that has come up for you on your journey when things have come up to the surface and some of your trauma has come up and you're trying to figure out how to deal with it. But before I go into a full podcast about trauma and how to transcend it and all of those things and what to do, the one thing that I can say within this episode is accept that it's there, right? And choose different. Now that it's become conscious, choose that you're not going to continue to act the same way. Whatever that means, and do what it is that feels right to you. I can't tell you what will feel right to you, but within yourself, you're going to know that, okay, actually what feels right to me is every single morning I have to put on some music and just move my body for 15 minutes, or I need to actually sit down and journal my thoughts and just write them down because it feels like it's going crazy up there, and having them on the paper is actually allowing me to put it out of my brain onto something physical, and then I can go about my day. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is that feels right, do that and allow yourself to do that, whatever that thing is. If it's like I can't talk to my friends anymore for like a week, I just need to be within myself, do that if that feels like what is right for you. Okay? So I feel like I went on a whole tangent about trauma, but basically my whole thing was that trauma can prevent you from showing up for yourself, because you have things that need to be pre-programmed. You're self-sabotaging, you're procrastinating because you're scared of success, or you're procrastinating because you don't feel worthy of the success that will come your way the moment you stop procrastinating. And so you need to rewire all of these kind of things in your brain to allow you to actually show up for you. And we'll talk a lot more about all of these different things, and about trauma, and about how to release it, and all of these things in another podcast episode, because I think that will have to be its own podcast episode, and it might be even more than one. But for today, the main message was, how do you build confidence? Show up for yourself. Do the things that you set yourself to do. And if the things that you set yourself to do are too big, set yourself smaller goals, but actually do it, right? Because the more you don't do something, the more you're telling yourself that you're not worthy, the more you're not showing up for yourself, and the farther and farther away the actual confident life that you want is getting away from you. But the more you actually step up for yourself, however small it is, the closer and closer you're getting there. Because again, you're healing things and working on things from the ground, from the root up. You can't start at the flower. You have to start at the seed. So yeah, I think that's all I had to say. I really hope that this was useful to you. I will definitely talk more about trauma. Don't you worry. I think that the trauma section was a little bit, not all over the place, but just a little bit surface level. But I will definitely talk more about trauma and how to transcend it, and how I worked through some of my own traumas. We will talk about that at some point, don't you worry. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It came from the heart, it came from me to you. I really hope that it helped you, that it triggered you in the right ways to start working on yourself, self-confidence, so you can build that confidence, that outwardly confidence for yourself. Yeah, again, I do everything with love. I try to be as authentic as I can be for you guys. And yeah, I really, really appreciate this podcast. If you did appreciate this episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're listening there. Like the video, share the video with other people that could benefit from it as well. If you're on a podcast listening platform, please subscribe to the show. It makes a big difference for me. It'll help other people to hopefully find it. And the most important thing that you can do is to share this podcast with other people that you think that could benefit from it as well. And when I say share, there's a few ways that you can do that. Obviously, the way that I would love for you to do it is to share this podcast link, send it to somebody that could benefit from it as well, so they can also watch it. The more views, the more listens that I get on this podcast, the bigger it can get, the more souls it can touch, the more people it can impact. And that's really, really, again, I said my mission is to help people heal and grow and create a community. So the more you share it, the closer we get to building that community. But if that's not something you want to do, honestly, building a community and helping people is the building block of this whole thing. So if you just talk about it within your life, talk about it with the people around you. If you've learned something new, share it with your friends and family, even if you're not sharing this podcast, to share what it is that you've learned, because the ripple effect is real. And if I can help touch a few extra souls through you, that'll be great. And yeah, I'm really, really glad and happy. Actually, filming this podcast has really uplifted my mood in a really, really good way. But again, it shows you how when you step up for yourself and you do the things that you've set out to yourself to do, even though it feels difficult and there's a lot of friction like there was for me this morning, it's always good, because now you see I have an extra stack on my stash of like, hey, on my self-confidence stash, because I'm like, hey, even though you had a difficult morning, you still stepped up, you still filmed this and recorded this episode, you still put your whole heart and your full energy into it. Anyways, guys, I love you all, and I will see you guys next time for another podcast episode. I do have on my YouTube channel a video going up on Sunday, so in 4 days. I don't know what it is going to be yet, but stay tuned for that. I'm sure it'll be fun. So yeah, bye guys.